Hey, what's going on, everyone? Alex here. So, Gamescom is happening right now, and we got brand new information about Persona 3 Reload. And I just want to share with you 6 things that came out of Gamescom, because people got a chance to play the game. It was just a small vertical slice. It's basically the exploration in Tartarus, how that feels right now, and of course, their experience with the first boss. So, let's get down to it. The first bombshell, which is not really a big bombshell, is that Shuffle Time just lets you pick the card that you want. It's basically similar to Persona 4 Golden, so that's not really new here. But what did surprise me a lot is that Baton Pass from Persona 5 is actually going to be present in Persona 3 Reload. Now, it makes a lot of sense, I suppose, because that's a feature that can just go into any of the games. It's a really cool feature in Persona 5, but it also creates an imbalance in terms of the difficulty in other games, because let's face it, they weren't really designed that way to begin with, to accommodate for that new feature. And you know what happened in Persona 5 Royal when everybody had Baton Pass? It basically made the game a lot easier, and I'm afraid that that might happen in Persona 3 Reload, but of course, I don't have the game, we'll just have to see in the final version. The next item is actually a confirmation, which is a lot of people were concerned that because this game isn't supposed to stray too far from Persona 3, the original, that this option might not be available, but it is, which is the ability to control all party members. Now, consider what I just said there, that the developers said that they want to be true to Persona 3. And here we are, we just talked about a Baton Pass, a change in the shuffle system, and now the ability to control all party members. So how authentic is this to Persona 3, really? I also want to know about social links, but let's get back to this one because this is really important. Being able to control party members is fantastic. I think that is a modern convenience in Persona games. I personally didn't think it was an inconvenience in Persona 3 and Persona 4. I actually had multiple playthroughs where I played through with both auto and manual, and I think they were fine. They're fine for what it is. But I think this is definitely going to help people who are Persona 5 fans who want more finer control over party members, and of course, everybody else who wants that sort of feature. So that's really, really cool. Now, this next part is a point of contention by some of the writers that have played the game, and that is that Tartarus is still procedurally generated, but it feels quite empty. So to illustrate this, I want to quote Chelsea Stark from Polygon, who actually wrote about her experience with Tartarus. She says that Tartarus is the genesis for Persona 4's dungeons, and is closer to Persona 5's repetitive memento stages rather than its complex palaces. So seeing these hallways rendered from a new perspective, more of an over-the-shoulder 3D rather than the original's God view, which is an overhead view, made the contrast rather stark. Now, the reason why the dungeons in Persona 3 Reload are designed this way, like a bit wider, is because you don't see a lot of the area as you do when you're viewing it from above. So they have to compensate for that lack of visibility because, again, the original Persona 3 takes into account your visibility. So if you put it down towards a lower viewing angle, you don't see as much as you would when you're looking at it from above. It's because of this that there isn't much going on in Tartarus, and because of that, the structure felt so repetitive that I got turned around fairly easily. Now, why is that? Well, the reason why is because when you're viewing it from a higher angle, you can actually see the connecting hallways that surround your existing perspective. But the thing is, when you're looking at it from a lower angle, everything kind of looks the same. And if you can imagine playing Persona 3, the original, and then changing the viewpoint from a higher perspective to a more grounded one to where the characters are, you can see how confusing that can be. This hews very close to the original game, but is barren by modern standards. And because this is the first game in the modern Persona series, it had a lot less going on when compared to later games. And it's because of this that the difference is more striking. Now, before I get into this next one, I just want to warn you that the first time I heard this, I couldn't believe it. Because I just couldn't imagine this being real until I actually looked at it and was really shocked that it was true. Persona 3 Reload is gonna cost $70. Now, at first I was like, but it's $60 on GameStop. And then I looked on PSN and saw that it was in fact, for the standard edition that works on PS4 and PS5, $70. Now, it's also available on Game Pass, so if you want to play it that way, you certainly can. But $70, guys, for what I just mentioned just now. I still have my copy of Persona 3 FES. I also have my copy of Persona 3 Portable, and while this is a lot prettier and it has that Persona 5 aesthetic, I'm just questioning myself and I'm like, is this really even worth $70? Like, I'm honestly flabbergasted and I don't really even know what to say. And normally I have a lot to say, but I'm just like, $70. That's all like what's dominating my brain right now. Sure, Baton Pass is cool. Sure, it's really cool to just be able to pick your shuffle time. Sure, I guess it's cool to be able to control your party members. And yeah, Tartarus is still the same, but different because of the perspective. And it's just mind-blowing. And the $70 price point kind of reframes everything that I just said just now. The last thing that I will say about this is that, is Atlas thinking that they could basically do the same thing as Final Fantasy VII Remake? Because I'll tell you what, I feel like Final Fantasy VII Remake did a lot more to their game than Persona 3 Reload. They completely re-engineered how things work. They added a bunch of new systems with the weapon upgrade system and the materia system, and expanding upon that, adding new stories as well. Like, that I can believe is $70, even excluding Intergrade. But this one, I don't know what to say anymore. I really don't. And I want to hear what you think about that. Like, what do you think of the price point and what seems to be what they're offering right now? And of course, the very last thing is that the release date is February 2nd, 2024. Oh boy, I need to chill out. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.